Let's start learning grammar. So, as we have already discussed, that why we need to learn reported speech. So, to repeat my words, I would like to remind you that we use reported speech when we want to repeat what someone had previously said. Or you can say that reported speech is when we tell someone what another person said, says, or will say. And a reported question is when we tell someone what another person asked. So, do you know how to report what someone asked? In this video, we will learn how to report questions and all the points which we need to keep in our mind while reporting questions. So, here are some points to remember. First point is direct questions are not used in reported speech. Now this is very important point. And this point means that never put question mark at the end of reported question. Now second point is conjunction that should not be used in reported speech to introduce questions. So, before we proceed with practice, we need to know that there are basically three types of questions: yes no questions, WH questions, and choice questions. So, we need to understand what these questions are. What is a yes no question? Basically, this question is a question whose expected answer is either yes or no. Now, these are also known as closed questions because there are only two possible responses to such questions: yes or no. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Are you Indian? If somebody is going to ask you, are you Indian? So, what would be your reply? You would answer this question as yes or no. So how to report these type of questions? To report these type of question, we use if or whether in place of conjunction that. He asked me if I was Indian. So this is the correct way of reporting yes no questions. Simply use if or whether and do not use the conjunction that. Second is WH question. Now, what are WH questions? Generally, WH questions begin with what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why, and how. We use them to ask for information, and the answer cannot be yes or no. And while reporting these questions, we will use WH word followed by subject plus verb. For example, how much money did you steal? He asked me. So, how are we going to report it? He asked me how much money I had stolen. So, my sentence or my reported question is beginning with WH word, how much, money, and followed by subject plus verb. I hope it is clear. Third thing is choice questions. Now, to report choice questions, we need to understand what are choice questions. These are also called closed-ended questions, where the answer options are already provided, or you can say choice is being provided. Now look at the example. He asked me, do you prefer tea or coffee? So choice has been given between tea or coffee. That is why these type of questions are called choice questions. And to report such questions, we use the word whether in place of conjunction that. So, how we would report this question? He asked me whether I preferred tea or coffee. As our question was in present tense, so it will change into past tense. This we have already discussed in reporting statements. Now let us do some practice to understand reporting questions in a better way. Miss Rupa asked me, "Where did you go yesterday?" So before we change it into indirect, let us understand the tense. Now, this particular question has been asked in past tense. So, we are going to backshift the tense and it will change into past perfect. So, how we are going to report this question? Miss Rupa asked me where I had gone the previous day. We are going to follow all the rules which we had learned while learning how to report statements. So, keeping all those points in our mind, we will be reporting questions as well. But two main rules which we need to keep in our mind while reporting questions are we are not going to use the conjunction that and we will not put question mark at the end. I hope it is clear to you now and it is easy for you to report questions. Let us see another example. I asked Helen, "What are you doing in my room?" Now the question has been asked in present continuous tense, so it will change into past continuous tense. And as the question is beginning with WH, so we are going to use the same word, WH word, followed by subject plus verb. So, what she was doing in my room. We are not going to report it like I asked Helen that what she doing in my room. It would be wrong. If you would write this way in your examination, your answer would be marked wrong. So be careful about your sentence structure and avoid using the conjunction that. I asked her, "What's your good name?" I asked her what her good name was. Now, what's your good name means what is your good name? So, our question is in present tense. It will change into past tense. So, this is how we are going to report this type of question. Let us see another example. I asked him, "Are you Mr. Rohan?" So, what type of question is this? This is yes no question. And we have learned that to report yes no questions, we are going to use if or whether. So here the answer is I asked him whether he was Mr. Rohan. I asked him, "Have you posted the letter?" Now, what kind of question is this? This is again yes no question. So, how to report this question? I asked him if he had posted the letter because our question was being asked in present perfect tense, so it will change into past perfect tense. So, the correct way of reporting this type of question would be I asked him if he had posted the letter. Let us take the last example. She asked, "Is the bike new or second hand?" Now, what type of question is this? This is choice question. And to report choice questions, we have learned that we are going to use the word whether. So, the correct way of reporting this type of question would be she asked whether the bike was new or second hand. Is will change into was. And we need to follow the pattern or the sentence structure of a statement. And it will not end with a question mark. I hope you have understood all the rules of reporting questions. Now, quiz time. Get ready with your register or a notebook. Pause your video, look at the questions, and write your answers in your notebook. And then you can check your answers. I hope you are going to score 10 on 10.